Will a giant asteroid called Apophis hit Earth on Friday, April 13th, 2029? In this video, I'm going to show you some of the things that the experts are saying, and then you can decide for yourself. Personally, I never thought too much about this. I thought the scientists understood this giant asteroid very well, and so there was no reason for concern, and that is certainly what we are being told. Let me start by sharing what NASA, I've got the NASA website pulled up here, and as you can see on the screen, they're talking about Apophis, discovered in 2024. They say Apophis was identified as one of the most hazardous asteroids that could impact Earth, but that impact assessment changed after astronomers tracked Apophis and its orbit became better determined. Lastly, a radar observation campaign in March 2021 combined with precise orbit analysis allowed astronomers to conclude that there is no risk of Apophis impacting our planet for at least a century. So the official narrative, the official story from NASA is that there is no chance, zero chance, of this giant space rock, this giant asteroid called Apophis will hit Earth in the next 100 years. Okay, and then other scientists are saying the same thing. Richard Benzel, a planetary scientist at the Massachusetts Institute for Technology. I've got a quote from him pulled up from space.com right here. He told Spacecom via email, quote, but the three most important things about Apophis are Apophis will miss the Earth, Apophis will miss the Earth, Apophis will miss the Earth. So that's what they're telling us. That's the bottom line. They say it's not going to happen. Zero chance that this giant space rock is going to hit the Earth in 2029. So that's what they're telling us. Okay. But originally, if you go back to 2004, and I've got an article up on the screen which talks about that, originally it was calculated there was a 2.7% chance that Apophis would hit the Earth in 2029. And then, and so that led astronomers to put this in terms of on the scale. It got the highest values of any giant space rocks out there in terms of the potential that it could hit our planet. And then later that was revised, but originally it was in 2004, it was considered to be a very strong possibility that it could hit our planet. Okay, now there's something else I want to share with you here is that we need to understand that as far as Apophis, right down here, I want to show you something from Forbes. Now, a lot of people think that we're looking at Apophis right now, but we're actually not. And Apophis, people need to understand when Apophis comes around, that it's going to come closer to our Earth than the moon. It'll actually come 10 times closer to Earth than the moon on its current trajectory. And it'll actually come closer to Earth than some of the satellites, the geosynchronous geosynchronous satellites that orbit above our planet. This giant space rock is going to come closer than some of those satellites, some of the satellites that are above our planet. So they're saying, yeah, there's no chance that it's going to hit us, but also that it will come extremely close. You're going to be able to see it with the naked eye. It's going to be, in astronomical terms, an extremely, extremely close shave. So they're saying, on the one hand, no, it's not going to hit us. But on the other hand, they openly admit that on April 13th, Friday the 13th, April 13th, 2029, it's going to come, it's going to be a super, super close shave in astronomical terms. It's going to be 10 times closer to our planet than the moon. And closer than some of the satellites we put up there. So very, very, very close. Now, it would only take the tiniest change in the trajectory of Apophis for it to actually hit us. The tiniest little change. Okay, so please keep that in mind to its trajectory. Now, right now, as I've got it highlighted up on the screen, a quote from Forbes, there's a problem because right now Apophis is in the daytime sky and we cannot observe it, and we haven't been able to observe it from mid-2021, and that will remain the case until 2027. So we'll know once we get another look at it in 2027 whether there's been any change in its trajectory, and we should be concerned. But we will not know that for another few years here, because right now we can't see it, we can't observe it. So it may have already changed trajectory over the last couple of years, or it may change trajectory just a little bit over the next couple of years, and we won't know until 2027. So we might have reason to panic right now, but right now we cannot see it. So that's a problem. Now, when it comes closer to our planet, when this giant space rock, Apophis, has this close shave with our planet, everyone agrees it's going to be affected by Earth's gravity. And there's a couple things that are likely to happen. One thing is it's likely to cause tremors. Think of it as small earthquakes. And I've got an article from space.com, I'm sorry, Live Science, this is pulled up here. And so one of the ways that our gravity is going to affect it is by causing tremors, by causing little earthquakes. And so could a tremor or an earthquake cause it to change its trajectory enough to hit us? I don't know. But I found that very interesting, that as it approaches us, it's going to be very, very unstable. And there will be tremors. There'll be these small earthquakes, which are really going to affect it. And, could that be enough to cause a problem? I don't know. The other thing, let me highlight down here. There's another process, because in that, for example, and right down here, let me read this for you. An unrelated let me explain. Right now, Apophis is tumbling through space. It's not going in a straight line. You think of an asteroid like flying in a straight line, right? No, but it's kind of tumbling. Like if you threw a football end over end, where the football's tumbling through the air, that's the situation with Apophis, where right now it's tumbling. It's tumbling through the air, okay? And there's a concern that as the Earth's gravity affects it, could it affect the spin? Well, an unrelated 2023 study showed that Earth's gravity could cause the asteroid to rotate either more quickly or more slowly, depending on its orientation during the 2029 approach. So in other words, it could affect the rate of tumbling or how it tumbles, and could that change the trajectory enough to hit us? I don't know, but I found that very, very interesting. There's also talk that Apophis could hit a gravitational keyhole, and scientists have been concerned that could change the trajectory enough to hit us in 2036. They say there's a very, very small chance of that. So that's a concern as well. But so there's a lot that we don't know, a lot that could happen, and Earth's gravity is certainly going to have a huge impact on Apophis. And like I said, just the tiniest little change in its trajectory, and it could hit us. Now, if it did hit us, one scientist estimated, and I've got this is from space.com on the screen. One scientist estimated that if Apophis were to strike Earth at 45,000 miles per hour, so just think of the speed of this giant space rock coming along at 45,000 miles an hour. And that's basically the average speed that an asteroid impacts the Earth. If Apophis hit us at that speed, the energy released would be about 10 billion joules, a 1 followed by 19 zeros. And the scientists said, quote, "This is equivalent to the explosive yield of the global nuclear arsenal." So if you think of the entire global nuclear arsenal being exploded in one place, that's kind of the amount of energy that would be released. Just absolutely enormous. Now, Neil deGrasse Tyson, who I basically don't agree with anything that he has to say. But even he is admitting that if Apophis hits Earth, I mean, it would be a disaster that we can't even imagine. So let me read this quote from you here. Famous astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson, in an episode of his podcast, Cosmic Queries, discussed a threat posed by giant asteroids heading toward the Earth. In a conversation with science author and cosmochemist Natalie Starkey, Tyson warned that a 370-meter wide near-Earth asteroid, Apophis 99942, that's the official name, might spark a major tsunami that can wipe out the entire west coast of North America if it manages to hit the Earth. Now let me scroll this down a little bit, where he talks about this a little bit. Tyson went on to explain how an impact in the ocean would trigger a tsunami, quote, if it goes through the center, and he's talking about the gravitational keyhole there. It will plunge down into the Pacific Ocean to a depth of 3 miles, at which point it explodes. And then he talks about the tsunami that's created. And then down here, let me give you this last quote from him. Quote, all the artificial stuff, all the houses, factories, they get churned into the force that sandblasts the west coast of North America clean. So what he's saying is it would create this tsunami that is so massive, so gigantic, that it would literally wipe out the west coast of the United States, wipe it clean. Now, personally, I don't know why he mentioned the west coast. Does he know something that we don't? But personally, I'm far more concerned about the east coast. And a lot of you that follow my work know why. Now, so imagine a giant tsunami, hundreds of feet tall, just blasting the east coast clean, wiping it out. We're talking about Boston, New York City, Washington, D.C., all the way down to Miami, just wiping out major cities, major population centers all along the East Coast. That's the kind of scenario we're talking about. And not just North America, but Europe and Africa. If we have an impact in the Atlantic Ocean, South America, just coastal cities being just devastated, destroyed, wiped out. And then, because so much material would be thrown up into the atmosphere, we would have likely a time of darkness initially, but beyond that, a period of global cooling when it would become very, very difficult, like a nuclear winter, to grow anything. So they're saying we could have famine, we could have disease, we could have all kinds of bad things for a period of years. So let's hope that it does not strike us in 2029. But right now we cannot see the asteroid, and we won't see it again until 2027. The tiniest little change in the trajectory would take it from the trajectory they calculated in 2021 was going to take it 10 times closer to the Earth than the moon. And the tiniest little change, then it could potentially hit us. And everyone agrees once it gets close, Earth's gravity is going to cause tremors. It's going to cause earthquakes, could change the rate of tumbling, how it tumbles. And so could Earth's gravity end up having a big enough impact for it to hit our planet? There's so much that we don't know. I think the scientists that are giving us assurance that there's zero chance that it is going to hit us, when I originally read their assurances, I believed them. I said, oh, they know what they're talking about. I'm going to trust the experts. And what am I always warning my readers? Don't trust the experts. Do your own research. So I started looking into this, and I was very surprised at what I found, that things are not as sure as they're telling us, and that just a little bit of a change could have absolutely devastating implications for our planet. We're talking about a disaster on a scale that's far beyond anything that humanity has ever seen before. So let's hope that it doesn't happen, but let's see what happens in 2027 when they can start seeing it again, see how it's changed, see how the trajectory has changed. Meanwhile, there's so much we're not going to know about over the next few years, but I think this is one to keep an eye on. So that's the truth about Apophis. That's what I had to share with you, all of you today. Please like, please subscribe, please comment down below. That helps us out a tremendous amount in getting these videos out there. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for helping us. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.